Huge problem here now for His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, Prince William, and as ever, let me explain the reasons why. Hi, how are you? Yes, we'll have a wave. Sorry, I know, I've forgotten. We'll have a wave. You all right? Yes. Good to see you. I know. Well, it's good to see you too. Yes, I know. I can see you. I know. As I said to you before, you get some very strange messages on this channel, from people saying, "Can you really see me, Neil?" I mean, truly. As I said to you before, I think it was in the 80s, wasn't it? Video phones. Remember, they were threatening to come in, and everybody, particularly the girls, were all sort of like, "Well, what if I don't have my makeup on? What if I don't look like this?" It's true though, and now we live in a 21st century world where digital is literally everywhere. A friend of mine accidentally FaceTimed someone. I mean, literally, and they were sort of, shall we say, not fully dressed. She had no idea that she'd flicked on FaceTime, and this poor guy was a friend of her son's. Can you imagine how embarrassing that must have been? But that's the thing. FaceTime, by the way, is a video app. If you don't, I'm not being rude, but if you don't know what these things are, it's a video app. Easily done, though. Absolutely. Have you noticed that when you tap something and you think, oh, well, I'll just put this, and then suddenly you're in video form, you think, I never planned that. But there you go. That's the world we live in today. It is, of course, the world that Prince William will have to get used to in the 21st century monarchy. And what's emerged over here is something that's really angering a lot of people. As you can imagine, you see, I've told you before, a lot of people think I'm just for the royal family. I present impartial news and I tell you both sides of the story. Over here, most people do not give a stuff about Earthshot. It's very nice for the Prince of Wales to do, very commendable, and some people might say, but they're battling real problems. So people whittling around saying how we're going to save the planet, they're more interested in saving their own selves, food, heating, cost of living, that sort of thing. Commendable, as I said, but not necessarily what you want from a future king. But now it's emerged, get this, that His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, Prince William, isn't a regular churchgoer. This has come out via a biography, and it's fascinating when you think, because one of the mainstays of being the monarch is defender of the faith. Now, as we know, our late and wonderful monarch, Queen Elizabeth, was very, very religious indeed, went to church every single week, and if she couldn't attend, then, because she is the Queen, they would attend to her at Windsor or Buckingham Palace, and rightly so. His Royal Highness, of course, King Charles also is very much a believer in the faith and interested in many other faiths as well. He's very sort of experimental in looking at all aspects. But apparently William doesn't share this belief. Now, what they're trying to do over at Buckingham Palace is spin this story into basically saying, oh, well, it will come in time. Well, he's 42 years old, almost. And the bottom line is, as I say, he is the head of the church, and so should basically be leading by example. This, again, is another huge misstep by Prince William. And while a lot of people say, oh, King Charles is weak and they can't wait for Prince William, careful what you wish for, because in modernizing things, sometimes things can go awry and it doesn't necessarily work out in the best way. What about Catherine? Well, apparently Catherine is very much a religious person, does like to go to church on a regular basis, whereas William just seemingly goes to those events that are linked to the British monarchy, as it were. And apparently, she was brought up in a very strong faith background also. So she wants the same naturally for her three children, Louis, George and Princess Charlotte. Now, I'm not sort of trying to push Prince William into that sort of decision, but what you really must remember is you are a public servant. You have to lead by example. And while they may be stunned by this backlash, literally in the media, one might suggest it could be simply rectified by doing what many people suggest that you simply paid for. You know what I'm saying? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.